Let's see one more question on total probability. So assume that we have a bag, and in the bag there are 3 balls. Assume that it is known that one ball in the bag is definitely red, and we don't know the colors of the 2 other balls. They can be either red or they can be non-red. Now if I pick a ball from this bag, what is the probability that it is going to be red ball? It need not be this red ball. In case if any one of these happens to be red ball, it can even be that. Okay, this question is a bit difficult to understand. I'll try to focus here. The question is like this: given that there is a bag and then 3 balls are there, one of the ball is known to be red, but the status of other 2 balls or the colors of other 2 balls are unknown. They can be either red or non-red. Then what is the probability that if you draw a ball from this bag, it turns out to be a red ball, right? And it need not be this red ball, it can be any of the red balls in case if they were also red balls. Then how are you going to do it? So this actually depends on various assumptions, which means, so first assumption can be these 2 balls may be non-red, or one ball is definitely known to be red and other ball might be red and other one may be non-red, or the other case is all the 3 balls may be red. Got it? So since it is unknown, we have to take into consideration all the possible these chances. Getting this? Now they have given that one ball is red, 2 balls are unknown. Now what can be those 2 balls? Either both of them can be non-red, or one of them can be non-red, or all of them can be red. Now all these 3 are possible. Got it? Therefore our sample space can now be divided into 3 mutually exclusive events. One event is bag can be this one, or bag can be this one, or bag can be this one. And now our event of getting a red ball is actually across, right? Spread across these 3 events. Now you can use the conditional probability, right? Okay, total probability first of all, and then after using total probability you might have to use conditional probability, because the probability of getting a red ball actually depends on what is right in all these 3, which one is right. Are you getting this? See, now the sample space is actually divided into 3 mutually exclusive events. Bag can be of this type or this type or this type, right? And then if the bag is of first type, this is the probability with which we can get a red ball. If the bag is of second type, this is the probability with which we get a red ball. If the bag is of third type, this is the probability with which we get a red ball, which means the probability of getting a red ball depends on what type of bag it is. Therefore they are actually dependent events, and so we have to get into picture conditional probability again, right? So let us say this is event E1, this is event E2, this is event E3, and this is event A, right? Then what does the total probability say? Total probability says that P of A is equal to P of E1 intersection A plus P of E2 intersection A plus P of E3 intersection A. Got it? And now what about P of E1 intersection A? Now you can use the conditional probability. The reason is the probability of getting a red ball actually depends on what type of bag it is. Let E1 denote that the bag is of this type, E2 denotes that the bag is of this type, E3 denotes that the bag is of this type. And since there are 3 possibilities and every possibility is equally likely, P of E1 can be 1 by 3, P of E2 can be 1 by 3, and P of E3 can be 1 by 3. And then P of A given E1, that depends on number of red balls in it, right? Just check this. How can I write it? P of E1, which means probability that the bag happens to be of this type, into probability of A given E1, which means if the bag happens to be of this type, what is the probability of getting a red ball from that bag, plus P of E2, which means probability that the bag happens to be this type and P of A given E2, which means probability of getting a red ball given that the bag happens to be of this type, plus P of E3 into P of A given E3. We have to add these three. Now what is the probability that the bag can be of this type? All these three are equally likely because we don't know which one, therefore we assign the same probabilities. 1 by 3 into P of A given E1, which means if the bag would have been of this type, which means 2 are non-red balls and 1 is red ball, then what is the probability of getting the red ball? 1 by 3, right? Plus P of E2, what is the probability that the bag is of this type? It is 1 by 3 into P of A given E2, right? In case if 2 balls are red and 1 is not red, then what is the probability of getting a red ball? 2 by 3, isn't it? 2 balls are red, that is why 2 by 3. Now what about this? 1 by 3 into all the 3 balls are red, then what is the probability of getting red ball? It is 100%. 3 by 3 is 1. Got it? So this is how we can answer it. Again we have used the total probability and also we have used the conditional probability, both of them. Got it? Why conditional probability? Because the probability of A depends on probability of E or happening of these events. That is why. Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177. And IIT Roorkey's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkey, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkey is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkey. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply. And statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.